Welcome back to my channel. My name is Shannon. If you're new, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. If you're not new, thank you for coming back to my channel. So today's video is regarding how I manifested a new job. So I'm gonna get straight into the story because I could go into a background of how I got into my spiritual journey, but I'll save that for another video. So in a nutshell, I definitely believe in spirituality and believe in manifestation and the law of attraction and all of that, in terms of if you think something in your mind and you speak on it, you can manifest it into your reality. So back in December, I was working at a job. I had been there almost 2 years. This coming March would have been 2 years for me, and I was working in the customer service field. And I noticed that I had started to become extremely unhappy, and I was not feeling fulfilled. I wasn't feeling supported. I wasn't feeling like there was room for growth or anything to that effect. So I started to distance myself in a sense. I don't know if you understand what I'm saying, but I was no longer connected to the environment nor the job. Now, don't get me wrong, it wasn't necessarily all of my coworkers or colleagues, because some of them I got along with very well, but just the environment was no longer conducive to my growth or my happiness. So towards the end of December, there was an issue or an incident at work where some information was relayed back to me about things that were being said regarding me and my work ethic and things like that, and I did not appreciate that, because everything that was being said was completely inaccurate and it was not true. So I didn't speak on it. I let it go, and I just started looking for other jobs, because I knew at that very moment that I no longer needed to be in this environment. So I want to say maybe a couple of days after that, I downloaded Career Builder and I downloaded Indeed, because that's just typically what I do when I start to look for a job. Those are like the first things that I do. I may not necessarily apply for anything on there, but I just look to see what's on there, and I'll, go from there. So I looked on Career Builder, I looked on Indeed, I put a few things in my cart. Not my cart. Are we shopping? No. I put a few things that I loved, like I saved them in a sense, so that I could go back to them and apply at a later date. So I want to say by the end of that week in December, I was talking to my mom, and she told me about a job opportunity that had been proposed to her, but she decided to decline and go with another opportunity. So she said, why don't you contact this company and see if the job is still available. It was actually a company that a temp agency that I had worked with previously. Now, I'm all for temp agencies because they help you get the experience that you need to boost your resume, and I have no problem. I've worked with this temp agency multiple times in the past, and so I already knew how they worked and everything of that nature. So I ended up calling them, and I called them on a Friday. It was the Friday before, or actually I believe it was the Monday before Christmas Eve, or maybe it was the Friday. I don't know. It was right before Christmas Eve, and I called the temp agency and I didn't get an answer. Nobody was, I don't know if anybody was there or not, but I didn't get an answer, and I didn't leave a voicemail. So fast forward a couple of days, I hadn't applied to anything on Indeed nor Career Builder. A couple of days after Christmas, I get a phone call from the exact same temp agency. Now, prior to me getting this phone call, I had made it up in my mind that by the end of January, I was no longer going to be employed at this company, and that I was going to have a new job. So I had this in the back of my mind the entire time, regardless of if I was applying to jobs, regardless of anything. I knew in my heart that by the end of January, I was no longer going to be employed at this company. So I get a phone call from the temp agency, and I was asleep at this time because the shift that I worked was 11:30 to 8, so I didn't have to be up for a little while. So I want to say he called me at maybe about 7 or 8 o'clock in the morning, left me a voicemail regarding a job opportunity that was literally 12 minutes away from my house. Now, the job that I was previously working at was 45 minutes each way. So when he said that, I was intrigued. So I called him back and he was explaining the details of the opportunity. It was paying a little bit more. It was definitely a lot closer, and the hours were 9 to 5:30, which is extremely convenient because I was so overworking 11:30 to 8. Not that I don't mind getting up a little later in the day, but just coming home extremely late was not working for me because I didn't get home until almost 9 o'clock at night. So I spoke to the guy at the temp agency. He gave me all the details, asked me if I was interested. I said of course, and he sent me an email following up with all the information that I needed to go ahead and apply for the job. So I applied, and they apparently loved my resume and wanted to do a phone interview with the hiring manager. So I did the phone interview with the hiring manager and everything went well. They wanted to bring me in for an in-person interview. It was a panel interview with 3 people. So for some reason I was feeling a little uneasy about the opportunity. I was not really feeling like it was for me. I don't know where this uneasy feeling came from, but I felt it. And so I had scheduled the interview and everything, and then I ended up telling them that I was unable to make it that particular day. They were willing to reschedule the interview. That exact same day that they were willing to reschedule the interview, that I was advised that they were willing to reschedule the interview, as I'm driving on the highway and I look, because I'm pretty sure everyone does this when you're driving and you just so happen to glance. I literally did a glance, and as I was driving I saw the building with the name of the company on the side of the building. In that moment I knew that I should be going to that interview. There was no doubt in my mind. Prior to that, I had doubts. I was like, you know what? I don't know if this is for me. I think it was more so just a bit of being scared of the change. But once I saw that, it kind of just, you know, hit me. And I was like, no, I have to go. So I called the temp agency back. I spoke to who I needed to speak to, and we ended up going ahead and rescheduling the interview. I went in for the interview. Everything was great. I then needed to do an interview with the HR manager, a phone interview, because she's located in Canada. Did a phone interview with her. Within 2 hours, I got the call that I had gotten the job. So I was extremely excited because at this point, my job was literally becoming a bit unbearable. Like, I could not stand having to go into my job at all. Some of the people, the management, the way it was being managed, I just felt extremely uncomfortable, and I knew that I had outgrown it. So they asked me when I would be able to start. I told them February 4th. February 4th is when I'll be starting, and I had some PTO days that I could have taken, and so I did take them. So I kind of had like a week and a half off of work prior to this. Prior to, if you remember a little bit previously in the video, I said that I had planned on being out of this job by the end of January. Now, initially, my end date was going to be February 1st. But prior to me submitting my letter of resignation, without me even realizing that I had given them the date of February 1st, I decided to change it to that Thursday, which was January 30th. 31st? January 31st. I apparently do not know my days of the week nor my days of the month, because I'm just all over the place when it comes to that. But nevertheless, I told them that my last day was going to be January 31st. And then it dawned on me that I said that I was going to be out of that job by the end of January. And initially I had set it for February 1st to resign from my job. And it ended up working out that I was out of the job by January 31st. So I just want to say this because the way that it came to me was extremely unexpected. Because when the temp agency called me, he said that I updated my resume on Career Builder. I did not. All I did was download the app on my phone. I didn't update my resume. I didn't apply to any jobs or anything. So the fact that he called me was definitely a sign for me. And, you know, even when I felt a bit uneasy, the universe said, nah, sis, this is for you. Like, I am a true believer of, if it's for you, it's for you. If it's not for you, it's not for you. If it's meant to be, it'll flow like water. If it's not, it's not. So when things were just coming into my way and they were like, sis, go that way. We line this up for you. I was like, okay, I hear you loud and clear. We gonna go in that direction. But aside from that, I just feel extremely blessed, and I'm so grateful and appreciative for this opportunity. So I start my new job in the next couple of days, and I just couldn't be more excited. Like I said, it's so much closer to home. The hours are better. It's, you know, I'm just excited. I'm excited. So I hope this story helps you. If you are looking into manifesting anything, go for it. Okay, speak that into existence, whatever it is that you are trying to manifest. I spoke this into existence, and here it is. I'm going to be starting on Monday. So if there's anything that you have that you want to manifest, go for it. If you're looking for a bit of advice or life coaching or anything of that nature, my cousin, she is bomb at that, because I wanted to start diving into a spiritual journey, and I definitely consulted with her so much. I'm sure she was sick of me, but I love her. So if you are interested in any of her services, she also has a podcast, For the Love of Millennials. Her name is A Rich Book. I will leave all of her information down below, because I'm pretty sure she can definitely assist you if you need some assistance, also in giving you a bit of motivation or anything of that effect. And I also want to thank my mom as well, because she definitely opened my eyes to a lot of different spiritual things as I was growing up and as I was younger. But I'm pretty sure you all know when you're young, certain things don't click to you. So as I've, you know, gotten older and I'm in my adult years, I'm starting to dive into it a bit more and looking into it on my own. But I'll definitely leave my cousin, her name is Amber, she goes by A Rich Book. I'll leave her contact information down below in the description box. And if you have any additional questions or anything, any suggestions or anything else that you would like to hear from me, go ahead and leave that down in the comment box below, and like this video, share it, and subscribe if you haven't already. I'll see you guys in my next video. Thank you so much for watching, and I love you all. Bye.